Hello everyone. Today we will be continuing our chapter with the topic motion in a magnetic field. So today we are going to discuss how a charged particle moves in a magnetic field. So in the previous class you have already learned that a moving charge in a magnetic field experiences a force which is the magnetic force, and it is given by F is equal to Q into V cross B. So this is the force that a charge Q, which is moving with a velocity V and placed in a magnetic field B, experiences. And the direction of this force will be perpendicular to both velocity and the magnetic field. These are the things that we learnt about the magnetic force experienced by a charge. Now we are going to understand when a charge experiences this magnetic force, what change happens to its motion. We can list out this topic into three cases. First one, our charged particle is moving parallel to the magnetic field. Next case is our charged particle will be moving perpendicular to the magnetic field. And the final case is the charged particle will be moving by making an angle with the magnetic field, that is neither parallel nor perpendicular but making an angle with the magnetic field. So these are the three cases that we have to deal with. So let us check out the first case. In the first case, as we told, our particle is moving parallel to the field. Motion of the charge is parallel to our field. The angle between velocity and the field will be 0. The angle between velocity and the magnetic field will be 0 since both are parallel to each other. So sin 0 makes the force, total force acting on the particle as 0. So no force will be. We know that F is equal to Q into V cross B, which is equal to QVB sin theta, experienced by that particle. How the charge entering parallel to the field moves. So we told that if the charge is moving parallel to our field, then it will not experience any force, which means it will move unaffected. So the particle experiences no force and its motion is unaffected. So the Q charge coming with the velocity V will simply go in the same way. It will not get affected by any forces, so its motion will not change. It will continue as it was entering to the field. So it will continue its motion. Now in the second case, when the particle is moving perpendicular to the field, that is the motion of the charge is perpendicular to the field. In this case, what happens to the force is the velocity component and the magnetic field component will be perpendicular to each other, which means the angle between them will be 90 degree. That is, F is equal to QVB sin theta becomes F is equal to QVB sin 90, which gives the total force F is equal to QVB. We know that sin 90 has the value 1, therefore the total force simply becomes F is equal to QVB. So this is the magnitude of the force that our particle experiences when it is entering perpendicular to the field. Now what change happens to its motion when this force is experienced? Let us see with the diagrammatic representation. Here let us consider the instance where Q is entering in a perpendicular way. In this diagram, the X marks, as you can see, the X marks represents the magnetic field. In the previous class we have learned that X marks represents the field into the plane, whereas dot represent field out of the plane. So here in the diagram you can see the field into the plane and our particles entering perpendicular to this field, that is the velocity component is perpendicular to this field. Now the direction of the force experienced by this charged particle can be given by the screw rule. We know that F is equal to Q into V cross B. So the direction of force will obtained from V cross B. To get the direction, we can use the right hand rule. For that, we have to see direction of the velocity component and the direction of the magnetic field B. We have to imagine this case in a three-dimensional way. So here you can see the direction of the velocity upward and the direction of the magnetic field is into this plane. So we have to take our right hand and the four fingers of the right hand should be moved in such a way that V cross B, that is from V to B. So if we move our right hand from V to B, here V is in this way and B is into the plane. So we have to imagine it in a three-dimensional way, and when we move our four fingers of right hand from V to B, the thumb gives the direction of the force. So if you try to keep your hand and check it out, you can see at this instance the thumb will be pointing to the left. Similarly, at every instance the force will be in such a way that the particle keeps rotating in a circular motion. So the motion of this particle becomes a circle. In the case of motion of particle perpendicular to the field, our particle follows a circular path. Now with the help of a small demonstration, you can get an idea what happens when the particle enters to the field in a perpendicular way. So as you can see in this video, the particle that was coming with a velocity v suddenly entering to the field, making an angle of 90 degree with the field, starts moving in a circular path. So the path followed by the particle in the field becomes a circle, and the force experienced by this particle in this field is F is equal to QVB. Now in the third case, as you can see, the charged particle moving by making an angle with the magnetic field. So we have already learned how the particle behaves when it is parallel to the field, how it behaves when it is perpendicular to the field. Now if our charged particle is moving by making an angle with the field, here you can see that we have taken the field in x-axis and our particle is making an angle with the x-axis. To understand this, you have to know the resolution of vector. How to resolve a vector? If you are having an inclined vector in a plane, then that vector can be resolved into its parallel component and perpendicular component, or its x component and y component. So here you can see that we are considering the vector A, and the vector A is making an angle theta with x-axis. So it has two components. Along x-axis the component is given by ax I cap, and along y-axis the component is given by ay j cap. Values of these components: x component is a cos theta and y component is a sin theta. So this is what is meant by resolution of vector. So following this resolution of vector, you can see that here velocity vector is making an angle with the magnetic field. So along the magnetic field it will be having a component, and perpendicular to the magnetic field there will be a component for our velocity. The component along x-axis can be named as v parallel, velocity parallel, and the component along y-axis can be named as v perpendicular, that is the component perpendicular to our field. So these are two velocity components of our velocity vector v. So due to these two components, we will be having a particular motion. We have already understood that if the velocity is parallel, then the particle moves unaffected, that is it follows the same path if our velocity vector is parallel. So due to this parallel component, our particle will have a forward motion. But we have already seen that due to a perpendicular velocity, the particle follows a circular path. In the case 2, we have understood that. So these two are combined here. Due to these two combination, our particle follows a helical path. The path followed by the particle will be a helical path. This is because of the perpendicular component of velocity as well as the parallel component of the velocity. So this is how a particle moves when it is making an angle with the magnetic field. So in this video, you can see the demonstration of how a particle moves when it enters to the field by making an angle with the magnetic field. As you can see, as soon as the particle is entering the field, it follows a helical path. This is what called helical path. Now the third case is so as we have understood that there are two components for our velocity which are named as parallel component and perpendicular component. In our previous cases, in the case 1, we understood that if the velocity is parallel to the field, then the particle gets unaffected and it follows the same path. Whereas we also understood in the case 2 that if the velocity vector is perpendicular to our field, then the particle follows a circular path. So in the third case, our velocity is having both the components perpendicular and parallel. Due to parallel component, the particle moves forward, keep moving forward, and due to perpendicular component, the particle follows a circular path also. So due to these both, the path followed by the particle becomes a helical path. And in this demonstration, you can see how the particle changes its motion as soon as it enters the field, making an angle with the field. We have told before how the helical path is obtained, and when the particle is entering to the field by making an angle with the field, then it follows the helical path as you can see in the demonstration. Now we know that there is a magnetic force experienced by the charge when it is placed in a magnetic field. If the particle is moving perpendicular to the field as represented in the diagram, the particle follows a circular path. Any particle following a circular path experiences a centripetal force. So here the magnetic force acts like a centripetal force. So we can compare the magnetic force and the centripetal force, that is mv square by r, which is the centripetal force, is equated to the magnetic force given by qvb. And from that, the radius of the circular path that it follows is obtained as r is equal to mv by qb. This expression gives the radius of the circle. So from this expression we can understand that as the momentum mv, which is the momentum of the particle, as the momentum increases, the circle becomes larger. That is, the radius increases or a larger circular path is followed. That is the conclusion that we obtain. Now regarding the helical path, there are certain terms that we have to understand, that is angular frequency, time period and pitch. Angular frequency is the angular displacement per unit time, which is given by the expression omega is equal to v by r. And already we have obtained the expression for r, radius, as r is equal to mv by qb. By applying this in the above equation, we get angular frequency omega is equal to qb by m. And from this, it is very clear that the angular frequency term does not depend on velocity or energy. Now the term time period is the time taken for one complete rotation by the particle. Time period is given by t is equal to 2 pi by omega, and we have already obtained omega as qb by m. Therefore, time period t becomes 2 pi m by qb. And pitch is given by the distance moved by the particle along the magnetic field in one rotation, and it is given by p is equal to v parallel into t, which can be obtained as p is equal to 2 pi m v parallel divided by qb. Since the pitch is the distance moved along the magnetic field, we consider the velocity component which is along the magnetic field, which is the v parallel component. That is why we are considering the v parallel component for the expression for pitch. Now we have understood the cases of how a particle moves when it is placed in a uniform magnetic field. And now we are going to understand what happens to the particle when it is placed in the presence of both electric and magnetic field, from which we reach to a device called velocity selector. Velocity selector is the device which gives a charged particle of a particular velocity. We can select out a particular charged particle from a beam of charges of required velocity. For that, we will be having uniform electric field and magnetic field which are perpendicular to each other. So this device was employed by J.J. Thomson in the year 1897. So what happens when a charge is moving in the presence of both electric and magnetic field? We already have understood that it experiences a force, and we called it as Lorentz force, and it is given by the expression F is equal to Q into E plus V cross B. So as you can see in the diagram, our velocity component is considered to be in the x-axis, electric field is considered to be in y-axis, and the magnetic field is considered to be in z-axis. So we know that due to the electric field, the force experienced by the particle is the electric force, which is represented by Fe, and it will be in the direction of positive y-axis. And due to the magnetic field, it experiences a magnetic force, and the magnetic force is represented by Fb, and the direction of the magnetic force will be the direction of V cross B, that is from V to B. If we use the right hand rule, keeping the 4 fingers from V to for the direction of the magnetic force, we take the direction of V cross B. We can obtain the direction of magnetic force using right hand thumb rule, and it is obtained to be in the negative y-axis. So when our particle is moving with a velocity v perpendicular to both electric and magnetic field, then it experiences a magnetic force as well as an electric force which are in opposite directions. So that is clear to us that the electric force and the magnetic force will be in opposite directions. So specifying the direction, we can say that our electric field is in the y-axis, that is Ej cap, and magnetic field is in the z-axis, which is given by B is equal to Bk cap, and velocity is in the x-axis, which is given by V is equal to Vi cap. And if we adjust the electric and magnetic field in such a way that the magnitude of electric force and magnetic force are equal, then the total force becomes 0. So the particle experiences 0 force, and it comes out by unaffected. So the particle then experiences 0 force on it, and its motion is unaffected, and it simply comes out of the velocity selector. From the equation, we know that F becomes 0 when we adjust E and B, and that gives QE minus QVB is equal to 0, from which we get velocity V is equal to E by B. So the value of the velocity with which the particle comes out of the velocity selector will be the ratio of our electric field and magnetic field. The particles with velocity E by B will come out of our velocity selector unaffected. This is how a velocity selector operates. That is all about the motion of particle in magnetic field as well as both magnetic and electric field. Thank you.